Kevin had been off the stream for a little while. Bones has been back and on the stream here for quite some time now, but there had been a little lull in the action for Bones as well, so it's nice to see Kevin and Bones mixing it up in here. Obviously, we got Big Daddy Chaz, who's been a fixture on the program, and JStack and Vittorio. Those guys have been off and on the stream, and both of those bring a lot. Both of those players bring a lot of action, so great to see them here as well.
All right, Kevin opens here on the hijack. JStack out of the straddle for $20 as we've got top pair here on the board for Kevin. Backdoor clubs. JStack has whiffed on this completely. Get a C-bet here by one of my favorite players in this game, old K-Rand. As going to get a bet and a call. Oh, you got to be kidding me here.
How does he do it?
Grimy turn set.
So
grimy.
I was going to say that I would have liked to see Kevin check that back because, Ace-9 is a really good hand to do that with. And still get value there on later streets, but this is just the worst. He continues. JStack calls out of position with the small underpair and drills that turn. That's unbelievable. So Kevin's going to continue here, betting 130. And JStack, is he gonna lay a trap or no? He's gonna pop this up. There's just no way.
Hit a lucky card. Time to pop it up here for JStack. A pot of 405. Kevin had bet 130.
And that is
a sneaky raise here.
That's a very small raise. Yeah, that's only 200 more. So that's going to be raising some alarm bells for Kevin here. I mean, the price is just so good. It's like JStack is just saying, call me, call me. But what do you do when you're Kevin here? You've got top pair. The spades came in, so a hand like 4-5 or some spades that might have connected in another way, Queen 10 or something.
10 a spade kind of hand. I mean, JStack can easily raise it, and this is going to be a tough card for Kevin to get away from. Trip bases here on the end. Pot of 935. We'll see what kind of value bet JStack looks for here in the spot.
Yeah, and JStack really should go polar here. Because the ace is such a big part of Kevin's range, he really needs to make this a big bet. And try to get maximum value. He's going to go 600, which is only about 2/3 pot. I do think that a full pot size bet or even an over bet would have been the appropriate play there, but 600, I don't know how Kevin could lay this down. Yeah.
Going to pay it off here as you'll see the bad news. All right, Brad here in the big blind.
No, the staff with Texas Royal Touch are fantastic, and I get regular tune-ups from their staff because sitting at a poker table for long periods of time, sitting in a booth here long periods of time, it'll take its toll on your spine, your neck, and everything. So definitely recommend them. Can't recommend them enough.
All right, Brad raises here to 175. We've got a call here by Kevin. I think one of our first flops here for Brad, and he's going to flop bottom set. Poor Kevin just keeps running top pair into sets.
He sure does. I mean, maybe the saving grace here will be the fact that he's got kind of a garbage kicker. If Brad continues his story with a lot of vigor, then Kevin could get away, but he's certainly not folding to this bet. 140, Kevin's going to call. Sort of evaluate on the turn. He doesn't have any hearts, so he's got no hope for backdoor flush. Oh, no.
2 pair here for K-Dog.
K-Dog getting coolered by the turn. So Brad can just get all the value in the world here. And again, like we were saying before, like you kind of put out that smallish bet on the flop and then size it up on the turn. Let's see if Brad goes with that strategy.
So check this out. So someone last bought a vintage backpack.
The great thing about having bottom set here is that you unblock all of the big cards. So your opponent is actually, more likely to have a big hand than if you were sort of continuing with something like ace-queen, right? I mean, you have ace-queen in your hand and your opponent is just much less likely to have those big cards. So he can definitely keep going here. He bets 410. So
that $410 Bradley dollars is... I don't know if Kevin likes pain or not, but he is about to be in for it. Here with top and middle pair aces and eights.
Yeah, and honestly, Kevin is probably thinking at this point, like, what's the best way to get all the chips in the pot? Is it call here and then sort of wait and see if he, jams over Brad or Brad checks and then he rips it in, something like that? I mean, he could definitely be thinking about putting in the raise now, but yeah, he thinks his hand is made and he's ready to get it in.
A lot of action here as we've got to raise up here to 1,100. Brad Owen here and put 3,200 back.
And now with such a small stack left for Kevin, I think Brad just really has, he's not going to be worried about pushing his opponent out of the pot by raising because Kevin has effectively committed himself. I mean, Kevin, of course, thinks that he has the best hand, and Brad doesn't know that. But even if Kevin was getting out of line with a flush draw and a pair or something, I think he's committed. So, yeah, Brad's just going to rip it in. Kevin's going to snap him.
And a king here on the end is... Kevin's going to show that you turn to pair and...
And the dealers here at TCH Live are always appreciable. So, this place, this card room has got the best dealers in all of Austin. Come on down, check out the very fine staff, the very fine room, and get yourself on the list for our 5-5 meetup game tomorrow with Brad Owen. Go ahead and give a call in. We'll get you on the list. All right, we got a couple of big hands here. We got On with Ace-King, a pair for Golfer Bo, and Poker Traveler had put in the 3-bet with the Ace-Queen. So On just electing to flat call again. Another interesting decision, which is going to bring Bo into the pot with his small pocket pair. Now Poker Traveler going to connect with this in the best way, making top pair. So Bo has seen a flop that he's pretty much done with the hand. And yeah, Poker Traveler going to check to him. He's going to go ahead and put out a bet of 300. And is On going to stick around for a turn here?
I think that's probably a resounding yes, given his track record here. That I am very shocked to see him fold because it's just within his range to get kind of squirrely here.
And he is getting squirrely. He's reached for a big bet here. He's going for a check raise. Check raise to 715. Now Poker Traveler here with top pair and backdoor nut flush draw. He's definitely not folding, but this has got to feel a little bit weird. Now On had just called pre-flop, so Poker Traveler's trying to figure out what's in his range. He doesn't block the king or the 10. So, the nuts is out there. That's definitely a possibility. There comes the ace making 2-pair.
He's very bad for On. He does turn top pair on the board with a straight draw, but behind the Poker Traveler with top 2.
Yeah, and more conventional thinking here would be that you've picked up a hand that actually has showdown. If you decided to bluff that flop, you might really want to kind of slow down here. Given just that texture, there's a lot of really strong made hands or powerful draws that you're up against here. So every chip that you put in the pot here is sort of dangerous, but he is going to come out and make a very big bet. This is over 1,500. Nearly a pot-sized bet. And Poker Traveler's gonna jam. Wow, he says, you know what? If you got it, you got it. I'm going with my hand. And he's well ahead. And On's gonna pile it in.
On is like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just throw it in.
For almost
all of those big blinds. On, you crazy?
And he's drawing to a 10 or a king.
They're going to run it once or twice. So we're going to at least get it twice. Jack here on the second board. And it's a great day to be the Poker Traveler. So he is going to net $6K out of an $11,800 pot. Are you kidding me?
That is incredible. Poker Traveler, welcome to Austin.
We had some Sulfur Y streams before the shutdown. Took a couple months off. We've been back since May. and we have been rocking 3 to 4 times a week, nonstop, excellent poker content. Uniquely good poker content here on TCH Live. Is Brad going to raise to 100 with ace queen suited?
Ooh, Poker Traveler, he's waking up with a big hand here in the big blind.
Steady.
And he says, let's go to 3. This is a small 3-bet out of position here. So Brad is definitely in a position to call. He's also raised from the hijack, so you get a lot more pushback from the blinds when you raise from late position. And has he, yeah, he's flat called and he's connected quite well here. So he's flopped a nut flush draw. Poker Traveler with the initiative and the better hand at the moment. Does have backdoor hearts as well, so he's going to continue for what I would presume is a small sizing. 275 here. And yeah, no reason for Brad to raise here. He can safely smooth call. A lot of opportunities to pick up the pot on later streets, even if he doesn't hit his flush.
Bet and a call, and there you go. Just the nuts there on the turn from Mr. Brad Owen. Says, how much do you want your ticket to Value Town to be there, sir? I'm your ticket taker, Mr. Brad Owen.
Yeah, the problem for Brad is that he controls so much of the board with this flush, right? He's got the queen of diamonds, too, so it's just like his opponent is pretty unlikely to have anything to continue with. He's going to go polar. He's going to bet large. You know, I almost... There's something to be said sometimes for just checking this back when you have such control. But honestly, he's going to bet and he's going to get raised.
What?
He's going to get raised. This has worked out amazingly well for him. So
God.
I take it all back. He's done the correct thing. Oh, my gosh. So now...
Brad's like, you know what? I'm really glad I made this trip here today to Austin, Texas.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I mean, there's no hand that check raises you here that you aren't beating by like a mile, right? Like a set doesn't do this, so you're not even worried about like something filling in on the river. So you just kind of hem and haw and make it look like you're like, shit, I got 2 pair here, but I'm really scared of the flush, but I guess I have to call. And so then you put out the call, and then you just hope that your opponent goes nutso on this river.
Bonner says whale on whale action. Love you, Ryan. You're the man. Wait. Free Willy.
All right, so Brad,
I love both these guys. So that's good dialogue happening here in the chat. Many different directions. Make sure to hit that like button. Shout out to Clay Martin that just gave us a super chat sticker for $2.99 as we go heads up here to the river with the Poker Traveler drawing dead.
And so Brad, we've got him listed here as having 2.2K. I think that looks just about right. Oh, it's another diamond here on the end. And I don't know. Brad's just got a little over 2,000 remaining. So Poker Traveler's got to say to himself, like, that's just so strong to call. And
yeah, I think you can argue about skills of all these players. Like, I don't think Brad has ever sat there and said, I'm the best player out of all this. This is a guy just trying to grind out a living and have fun doing it. And he's going to bet 700 here on the end.
Oh, and not even 700 is going to get a call from Poker Traveler. He goes for the thinnest little bet. And Poker Traveler says, nah, you got the goods, buddy. You can take it down.
Numbnuts, Mike, what kind of dog do you have? I have the space. Okay, we'll go back here as we've got a hand developing. Brad here will raise here on the button. Poker Traveler looking for some Bradley dollars. 3 bets here to 225.
Not getting tricky with the kings here. Brad in position, Jack 10 offsuit. He's getting a pretty decent price to call here and see if he can connect with the board. He's not having any of the calling in mind.
He's going to 4-bet here.
4-bet. It's an ambitious play. Jack 10 doesn't play that well as a 4-bet. You don't block the biggest cards that your opponent is going to have in their calling range. So don't really like the Jack 10 as a 4-bet. However, With position, you know, against certain players, you can make that hand work for you, but this is going to be dangerous. He's going to flop top pair. Neither player with a club. So we're going to go check, check to a turn, which is an ace. This is actually a card that could get Poker Traveler off of the hand if Brad were to stab at this and continue the story on the river.
Brad's going to try it, though. He's going to try a super down bet here. It's like, what, a 1/4 pot bet?
Yeah, and I actually like this because let's say that he had a hand with an ace in it that didn't have a club, right? So, like, he would have continued on the flop with a club, but then he picks up the ace and he's just going to go ahead and put out this small little bet. And I like that a lot. And sure enough, he's going to show him. He's just going to show him, yeah, a pair of jacks.
There you go.
A pair of jacks. What do you want? The best advice I could give is really understand who you are as a poker player before you foray into the game as like a serious endeavor. Like if you got lucky and won a tournament or made it deep in some tournament one time and now you've got what you think is a bankroll and you're just going to, sort of turn this into your future and run out there and take over the world, that's the start of a beautiful dream and it could work and that could be a great thing for you. But also just recognize like where you are as a poker player and what your sort of skill set is. Because I think so many people kind of either think that they're better than they are or understand the game more than they do and just sort of rush into it because it's exciting and fun. So, I mean, you really should put in some time, hop on one of the fantastic training sites that are out there and sign up and learn and sort of identify your own weaknesses. If you're not putting in that kind of analysis to who you are as a player, you can really kind of fall behind. And so, yeah, I guess just the best advice I'd have is to really do some self-analysis, some self-evaluation.
Get honest critiques. As we've got a 3-bet here by Matt. It's hard to cut you off. We got a 4-bet by Bones here with ace-king suited. Matt had called. We've got an ace flop. And a big pot brewing here between Barrel and Bones. Big Daddy Bones. Here with ace king, top pair, top kick.
And I was only in for, I wasn't in for 20. I was in for 5.
It's going to lead out into it and could be a dangerous spot here for Matt.
Yeah, so Bones with the initiative here as the pre-flop 4-better is going to put out about a 1/3 pot size bet, which is going to be fairly standard. And so Matt with ace queen here is pretty much never thinking anything other than just call and like feel pretty good about your hand. I mean, Bones could definitely continue this story with, oh my God, look at that
poor
turn
Bones.
card.
You've got to be kidding me. Queen turns as Matt has made top 2 pair.
So I was going to say that the ace-queen is actually feeling pretty good because there's actually quite a few times when you hold that ace that your opponent is just going to check on this turn, and then you're just going to feel, very emboldened to value bet. But, considering the way that this is played out, I mean, Bones is going to be sick to his stomach when he finds out what is happening to him here. But, right now he's got to be wondering, of all the hands that could call me here, what did that queen do to their range? But he's going to continue. It's another smallish bet, given the size of the pot. So he's going to put 1,200 out there. And again, Matt can just call this. And now I think when Bones continues on this turn, right, like this basically telegraphs to Matt, like Bones has a hand, but you've got top 2, so I mean, you're loving this spot. I mean, yeah, you pretty much put Bones on exactly what he's got. He's got ace-king here, so definitely don't want to raise and get him out of there. But the other thing is that Matt does only have 3.1K in his stack, so if he calls, it's going to take him down to only 1,900, and that actually almost looks stronger than shoving. So maybe he's going through that analysis right now and says to himself, I can't just call because Bones just like checks every river, but if I jam, maybe he calls. Okay, he is going to put in the call, and again, he's got 1,900 behind. This pot is now up to 5.5K.
really suspicious look there by Bones is, do you wonder, can he put Matt here on ace queen? Can he really sit there and think, like, it's a reasonable holding that he could have given the circumstances? That, like, does he either have the same hand as him, or did he get lucky there on the turn? Or potentially maybe call, well, say, like an ace-3, and, oh, poor Bones.
Yeah.
He's just run right into it.
Yeah, and I don't really blame him there for jamming it in because he knows that he can't fold to any bet. So he says, you know what, I may as well take the initiative and just go ahead and get it in there.
That was funny for a while. Then it kind of went away because it was overdone. But it was, at its peak, very great comedy.
I mean, also, did you ever watch a Chuck Norris film? Like, I'm just curious.
I used
like,
to
we're
love
of the
Walker,
age, like,
Texas Ranger.
Oh,
Like, as a
yeah.
kid, Walker, Texas Ranger was like peak entertainment for a kid in Postville, Iowa, little town. You're like, wow, Walker, Texas Ranger. This, and it's just trying to think of the other great Chuck Norris films. As we've got Brad racing with Ace King, Bones calling with Ace 9 suited.
And, yeah, Whiff City there for both players. Brad with the initiative and the best hand. He's going to go ahead and check it over to Bones. And Bones is going to check back with ace high, take his sort of showdown value, see if he can get to showdown here. He will be no good if they do check it all the way down, which I suspect they will here on this run out. No, Brad is actually going to go for thin value. And Bones going to let it go. Yeah, you never like to see that.
Well, retire, Tom. No, that's a good one here for the Bears here at home. Unless Tom is going to try to get a penalty out of this. I think that is probably the ball game. Nope, no, that was wow.
He had the running back wide open, it looked like, for the first down.
He was looking for Cameron Brate over the middle. The safety in the middle of the field had him totally sealed off, but...
Oh, Brady thought that it was third down.
No, boy. All right, top pair here for E here with King Jack. Brad here with the ace queen of spades.
All right, so yeah, E here with top pair. Pretty solid kicker. He's going to go ahead and bet. Brad with backdoor spades and 2 overcards. Yeah, this is a spot he can continue in position. King ball right there on the turn, so E's hand gets even better. It does bring Brad in with a gutter, but no spade means it's going to be tough for him to continue, although E's going to check now. And this could give Brad an opportunity to try to bluff at this, and honestly, I think he probably should. Against most of E's checking range, a bet here is going to be pretty effective. Although you have to wonder what kings call the flop, I suppose, right? So maybe the king isn't actually that strong of a card for Brad's range, but he's going to represent it, so he's going to put up $400 there.
He gives him a little look there, like, okay, what do I do now? I got a bet of 400 in front of me. Relatively safe board.
Yeah, the tricky part here now is if he's going to set this trap, is he going to call and then try to check and induce another bluff there on the river? Or does he try to get more money in the pot now? These guys are super deep stacked, so honestly, you should probably be thinking about a raise here, but looks like that's the route he's going to go. So we had a bet of 400 from Brad and a check raise up to 1.2, so a 3x raise here out of position. That's definitely going to be screaming some scary to Brad, and he's going to let it go. So
Yeah, let's see. We got Brad here with the ace-7 suited. Matt, Westlake Matt had open here to 75.
he's got that deadly ace-queen again.
Yes. V, saying your voice priceless. The people love the chat pro voice that I do here. I might just have to do a full show of doing nothing but the chat pro voice.
Do it when I'm not here.
Rated show
'Cause
ever,
I do
but-
like the voice, but I don't know if I could stand a whole
No,
episode of it.
it's good in small doses. As we've got a 3-bet here to 300 here by Poker Traveler. Gonna get a call smoothie here by Matt. Brad
Yeah, he's
getting
going
a
to
pretty
come
good
along.
price.
Yeah, on the button with a suited ace. Definitely can take a flop here. We've got almost $1,000 in this pot. A little over 900, I should say. Oh, that's a raggy flop. Not going to connect with anybody, really. So King's still safely out in front. Yeah, Matt squeezed here in between. He could think about a float if he was on the button with no one behind, but he's definitely put in a tough spot here.
I think Matt wins the cooler of the year against Bart Hansen when they went sevens versus queens. Bart flops top set of queens. Matt has middle set of sevens. That was a hand, I think, before the shutdown. That was like a 20K pot, I think, ish. It's somewhere between 10 to 20K. I can't remember precisely, but. And I almost think he almost considered folding it too.
I remember that. Yeah, he was thinking about it. Yeah.
So we've got flush draw, straight draw here for Brad. Poker Traveler searching for those Bradley dollars. Chance here though.
All right. Yeah, that is just a nut turn card if you're Brad. Gives him 40% equity in this hand without a pair. Poker Traveler does the check call for 650, and this pot's ballooned to 3K now. Let's see if Brad can improve here on the river, and he will not. So that Jack of Hearts is going to brick out for him. Poker Traveler going to put in the check, and now Brad is sitting there with ace high. He can't win this at showdown, and he knows it. He's going to have to put in a big bet. Oh,
He gets insta call, but Brad does try to fire there with 1,400. I think Seti beat him right into the effing pot there. Boy, this flew by more than I thought it would. This was as fun of a stream as we've ever done.
All around, just a really fantastic game. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for getting us up well over 700 likes tonight. That's amazing.
This was uncharted territory, and I'm really feeling good. Again, in the words of the great Mike Sexton, may all your cards be live and your pots be monsters. Good night, everybody.